Welcome back to Grandma's Bedtime Stories series. We are reading from Nancy Drew and the Clue Crew, The Fashion Disaster by Carolyn Keene and illustrated by Mackie Pamichwan. And as you remember, a poodle didn't go down the runway, and they're looking for clues who switched the biscuits, because that's the only way a certain biscuit would be waved in front of the dog to go down the runway, and they're finding who switched it. And they got to a trailer, they got pieces of paper from the trash can and put it together and said, Maya, who's the owner of Lola the dog, says, we know your secret. So what's the secret? So now let's go on to chapter 7 and 8 and see if we can find out what that secret is. Chapter 7, Backpack Attack. Maybe Maya's secret is something embarrassing, George said the next day. Maybe she still sleeps with a teddy bear or something. Bess planted her hands on her hips. I sleep with a teddy bear, she said, and a dolphin, and a stuffed kitty with ruby eyes. Okay, George said, then maybe she bites her toenails. Ew, Bess said, that I don't do. The girls were in the schoolyard for recess, but they weren't playing tag or kickball or swinging on the swings. They were trying to figure out the mysterious note. Nancy had taped it together when she got home the night before. The paper is orange with a dog paw print design around the edges, Nancy said. Whoever wrote it might like dogs. Nikki likes dogs, Bess pointed out, and she probably knows some of Maya's secrets, too. A ball rolled over. Nancy kicked it back to the kickball game. A girl wearing an orange t-shirt waved thanks. Nancy's eyes flew open. The shirt made her remember. The Bow Wow Brigade. They wore orange t-shirts, too. You guys, Nancy said, didn't Maya say mean things about the shelter dogs to the Bow Wow Brigade? Yeah, Bess said. Maybe they switched Lola's dog biscuits to get even. And while they were switching the biscuits, George added, one of them might have stopped to write the mysterious note. But what is Maya's secret? Nancy wondered. The end of recess bell rang. Nancy carefully folded the note and put it in her pocket. Then the girls lined up with the rest of their class. Their friends Nadine Nardo and Kendra Jackson stood in front of them in the line. Hi, Kendra, Nancy said. Hi, Nadine. Kendra and Nadine spun around to face Nancy, but they didn't say hi back. Instead, they glared at the girls with squinty eyes. What's up? George asked. We heard about it during recess, Nadine said. How could you do that to Lola? How could you switch her biscuits before the big fashion show? Kendra asked. That's so mean. Nancy couldn't believe it. Now their friends were blaming them for the biscuit brouhaha, too? We didn't do it, Nancy insisted. Kendra and Nadine hooked arms. With a huff, they walked to the front of the line. Great, George groaned. If we don't find out who switched those biscuits, we'll lose all our friends. Now Peter stood in front of the girls. He turned around and said hello. Hi, Peter, Nancy said. Are you ever going to walk Huey again? Peter's eyes flew wide open. Huey, he asked. Why do you want to know? Just curious, said Nancy. The line began to move. As they filed into the building, Nancy whispered to Bess and George, Why was Peter acting so nervous? Are you kidding? George said. You'd be nervous, too, if you had to walk a dog like Huey. The rest of the school day was busy with math, art, and social studies. But after 3 o'clock, the Clue Crew was back on the case. Why is Chip coming with us to the rollover rescue shelter, Nancy? Bess asked. Nancy held Chip's leash as they walked away from the Drew house. The girls had gotten permission to go to the rollover rescue shelter after school. Because I have to walk Chip anyway, Nancy said. Besides, since they like dogs so much, the Bow Wow Brigade might be nicer to us if we have one. A rattling noise made Chip's ears perk up. Nancy turned and saw a girl riding a bicycle down the street. As she rode closer, Nancy could see who it was. It's Nikki, she said. Are we lucky or what? George whispered. Nikki, stop, Bess called, waving her arms. Nikki smiled as she slowed down. Her purple backpack was stuffed in her bicycle basket. The strap from the bag dangled over the side. You guys were in the park on Saturday, Nikki said. What's up? We're trying to find out who switched Lola's dog biscuits at the show, Nancy said. Maybe you can help us. Sorry, Nicky said. Her helmet wiggled as she shook her head. I have no idea who did it. Chip suddenly jumped up. She caught the strap of Nicky's backpack between her teeth. Chip, no, Nancy scolded. Too late. Chip pulled Nicky's backpack out of the basket. Stuff spilled out as it tumbled to the sidewalk. Nancy noticed a wad of gum stuck to a tissue, a dollar bill, a pencil with a ladybug eraser, and a plastic comb. Sorry, Nancy said, but as she picked up the backpack, 3 more things fell out. 3 dog biscuits. Chapter 8. It's a match. Nancy grabbed Chip's collar as she lunged for the biscuits. They looked just like Lick My Chops. Where did you get those? Nancy asked. They must be from Saturday, Nicky said calmly. I forgot to clean out my backpack as usual. But they're Lick My Chops, Nancy pointed out. When you fed Lola, you only fed her the fancy kind. Those weren't for Lola, explained Nicky. After I told Maya I quit, I went to the rollover rescue tent to volunteer. Tracy gave me a bunch of biscuits to feed the shelter dogs. Nancy watched Chip crunch the biscuits on the sidewalk. They were lick my chops, all right. You can keep the biscuits, Nicky sighed. I still don't have a dog. Nicky adjusted her helmet and pedaled away. The girl stared down the block as she disappeared around the corner. How do we know she was telling the truth? Nancy wondered. Too bad we don't have a lie detector machine, George said. Maybe I can build one, Bess said, or invent a shampoo that makes a liar's hair turn green. Thanks, Bess, Nancy said, but we still have other suspects to question. The Bow Wow Brigade, Bess, and George said together. The Clue crew went straight to the rollover rescue shelter. Once inside, they saw volunteers in orange t-shirts busy at work. They were walking dogs, cleaning cages, and showing adoptable dogs to possible owners. Tracy and Vincent were there. When they saw the girls and Chip, they walked over. A brand new puppy just came in, Tracy said. He's a schnoodle, Vincent said. A schnoodle? Nancy asked. Part schnauzer, part poodle, Tracy explained. Would you like to meet him? Nancy was curious about the schnoodle, but she shook her head and said, We came to find out who switched Lola's dog biscuits before the fashion show. Nancy pulled the note out of her pocket. She held it up and said, We found this note in Lola's trailer. Did any of you write it? Tracy and Vincent stared at the note. That is our stationery, Tracy said, but I didn't write it. Me neither, said Vincent with a shrug. Then he pointed to the desk. If you'd like to volunteer, just write your name on the sign-in sheet and we'll put you to work. The teenagers turned and walked away. Sign-in sheet, Nancy said. That's it. Don't tell me you want to volunteer now, George said. We have a case to solve. And I'm not cleaning out any cages, Bess said. You'll see, Nancy whispered. She waved her friends over to the desk. Then she ran her finger down the sign-in list until she found Tracy's and Vincent's signatures. What are you doing, Nancy? Bess asked, comparing the note to Tracy's and Vincent's signatures. Nancy explained. She held the note against the names and heaved a sigh. The handwriting don't match. Somebody had to write that note, George said. Nancy compared the note to each name on the list. Finally, she found a match. Bess George, Nancy said. The volunteer who wrote the note was that kid, Rusty. Did somebody say my name? A voice asked. The girls whirled around. Rusty was standing behind them. He was holding a leash in one hand and a bag of dog poop in the other. I was just walking Champ, Rusty said. We can see that, George said, wrinkling her nose. Rusty, did you write this? Nancy asked, holding up the taped-together note. Here, hold this, Rusty said. He handed Nancy the poop bag and took the note. Nancy scrunched her nose as she looked down at the bag. Rusty studied the note. He nodded and said, Yeah, I wrote this, so what? It's not nice to leave creepy notes around, Bess scolded. I know, Rusty said. But that Maya was making fun of the shelter dogs, and shelter dogs are great. Is that why you switched Lola's biscuits too? Nancy asked. No way, Rusty said. That would be going against the Bow Wow Brigade pledge. What pledge? George asked. Rusty spun around. Printed on the back of his t-shirt was the Bow Wow Brigade pledge. The first line read, Never hurt or trick any dog. A pledge is a serious promise, George whispered. I took a pledge, Bess said, when I joined the Pixie Scouts. Well, Rusty said, turning around, now do you believe me? I guess so, Nancy said. But what is Maya's secret? Bess asked. Rusty tossed the orange note on the desk. Then he flashed a sly grin. It's not nice to tell secrets either, he said. Come on, champ, let's go. The girls watched as Rusty walked away. Wait, Nancy called. You forgot your bag. Now we'll never know Maya's secret, George said. And now Nikki is our only suspect, added Bess. Maybe, maybe not, Nancy said. She tossed the bag into a trash can. Then she flipped the pages of the sign-in sheet until she found the one from Saturday. Look, Nancy said. She pointed to a name near the bottom of the list. Nikki Weidemeyer, she read. That's got to be the Nikki we know. So Nikki was telling the truth, George said. She really did volunteer with the dogs on Saturday. Now we have no suspects, Bess said. And everyone still thinks we switched the dog biscuits. The girls left the shelter. On their way out, they ran into Mayor Strong. Hi, Mayor Strong, Nancy said. What are you doing here? I'm on my way to the vet stationed here, Mayor Strong said, to pick up a special toothpaste for my dog, Huey. What makes it special? George asked. It's super strong, the mayor said. Huey has had the worst dog breath since Saturday, sort of like cheese and onions. Cheese and onions? Said Nancy. Mayor Strong nodded. Now if I can just get Huey to stop drooling like Niagara Falls, he muttered. The girls said goodbye as the mayor entered the building. Wasn't the flavor of Lola's favorite dog biscuits cheese and onion? George asked. Mayor Strong said Huey's breath has been stinky since Saturday, Nancy said. The day of the fashion show, Bess gasped. Nancy smiled as the pieces in her mind began to click together. Maybe Lola's biscuits weren't switched, she said. Maybe they were eaten. And that's the end of Chapter 8. So next week is the last two chapters of the book, 9 and 10. Thank you for being with me today, and don't forget to come back next week. Bye-bye now.